Is using the cloud safe? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure and subscribe to the channel. Hit the button down below. I publish new videos several times a week answering questions, giving advice and tech tips that I think you'll really enjoy. Some years ago, a fairly high-profile internet journalist got hacked in a fairly dramatic fashion, actually, and he was able to watch it as it was happening. In response to that, I wrote an article that I called, "What Can We Learn from Matt Honan?" Honan is the individual who was hacked. This isn't about that. This is actually about one of the comments that I got in response to my article. And that comment was simply this: that's why the cloud is dangerous. And I get that a lot of people probably feel that way. It's mystical, it's weird, it's out of your control in a lot of ways. And we certainly do hear about hacking fairly frequently, to be honest. It makes the news all the time. But here's the deal. I disagree strongly from that knee-jerk reaction. The cloud is not dangerous. The cloud, well, is actually only as dangerous as you make it. And you've been making it dangerous a lot longer than you think. That's why the cloud is dangerous. Now, I know a lot of people feel that way, but I disagree strongly. And one of the reasons I disagree so very, very strongly is that it completely misses the point that you and I have been using the cloud for decades already. So what is the cloud? Well, honestly, the cloud is just a marketing term. Honestly, that's all it really is. The cloud is nothing more than the online services we use. It is your email. It is your online storage. It is the stores that you buy from online. It is the website like Askleo that you visit from time to time. All of these things are services you use online and in the cloud. As someone put it, the cloud is nothing more than somebody else's computer. So if it's on your computer, it's probably not in the cloud. But if it's in an online service, like I said, email, data storage, online stores, whatever, that's the cloud. I really, really want to drive home the point here that the cloud is not new. It's new in name only. The fact is, we've all been using online services, as I said, in some cases for decades, before this whole concept even got the marketing term. So, great. It's online services. The cloud is a marketing term. Are online services dangerous? No, no more so than they've ever been. In fact, there's a very strong argument that says that online services today are more secure than they've ever been, because they've all been learning from the hacks, the issues, the bugs, the vulnerabilities that have been getting fixed and repaired and reported in the years preceding. If anything's changed, it's not that online services exist, it's that so many more of them do. We are doing more and more with online services than ever before, but they're not new. They are just something we have all become accustomed to using without even thinking about it. Like I said, email is perhaps the best example. Your email is sitting on a server somewhere. That's in the cloud. It's not new, and it's just as secure, probably more secure than it has ever been. Now, at this point, many people will, of course, point out that service providers get hacked. We're kind of sort of at their mercy. True, very true. and also not new. This is something that has been in place since we started using service providers, since we started using somebody else's computers, since we started using online services. We are always at the mercy of the people that are providing the services. And again, because of a history of getting things fixed and learning what works and learning what doesn't, service providers in general are more secure, more robust, more proficient, and more powerful than they've ever been. To be clear, I am not trying to excuse any of the service providers who potentially might get hacked because of bad things that they're doing. If they're not following those things that we've learned, if they're not learning from the lessons of the past, if they're not implementing proper security protocols, yep, absolutely, that's on them. But it's also one of the reasons that people like me continually refer to name brand or established or reputable service providers whenever we recommend or suggest or even talk about using online services. These are the people that have the experience. These are the people that have the talent. If they use it wrong, absolutely, it is their fault. I am in no way excusing them. But most have a good reputation and are doing the right thing. So let's go back to the original hack that started this discussion, Matt Honen's hack. If you actually read through his experience, you'll realize that he didn't really lose his data because of the breaches he experienced. Yes, there were breaches. He did lose data. But the reason he lost data, and in fact, he admits this himself, is he wasn't backed up. The bottom line when it comes to a lot of security issues we hear about across all of the services, across all of the individuals you might run into that report a problem, is we can't protect you from you. You have to take some responsibility for doing things that keep you secure. One of those things, and Matt absolutely acknowledges this, is that you should back up. Had Matt had a backup for what he lost, he wouldn't have lost it. Yes, there would have been much inconvenience as he went through the accounts that had been hacked, but he would not have lost the pictures, apparently, that he did lose of his children. The lesson here is not that online services are dangerous. The lesson here is that we, you and I, have to take responsibility for our own security. Great. So what does that mean? Well, it's stuff you already know. If you've been paying attention at all, these are things you're probably tired of hearing. Back up. Use strong passwords. Keep all of your recovery information current. Use two-factor authentication where it's supported. Encrypt any sensitive data you do store online. Understand the security ramifications of using someone else's computer or a computer in a public place. Understand the security ramifications of somebody else using your computer. Understand how to use internet connections provided by others securely, including open Wi-Fi hotspots and even wired connections at public places like hotels and conference centers. Don't link your accounts together in such a way that breaching one allows others to then be breached. Use different passwords for every site. This is non-negotiable. Use a different email address, perhaps even for different sites. Keep software up to date, scan for malware, and do all of the other things we routinely talk about when we talk about keeping your computer safe online. Like I said, all of these are things that I suspect you've heard of, you may even be tired of hearing of, and in fact are the fundamental things you need to do to stay safe online. Because so much of what we do is online. It really can be safe. There is no such thing as perfect security, but by following these kinds of techniques, by following these rules, by setting things up properly and maintaining your security properly, they can absolutely be safe. In fact, Used properly, these online services can add security by providing you with additional resources, additional email accounts, additional backups, additional storage that help you protect yourself from account theft, from data loss, and more. Rather than asking, is the cloud dangerous? I believe it's much more important to ask, how do I use the cloud safely? Because that will take you to a place that you should be already, and I think will leave you much better off in the long run. Now, I do want to throw out a postscript here, and that is that Matt Honan himself, the victim of that very public hacking I talked about earlier, he actually followed up sometime later and how he's recovered from that attack. And he had an interesting quote. Quote, "I'm a bigger believer in cloud services than ever before." This is the gentleman that initiated this very discussion. While others are quick to blame, quote unquote, the cloud, he is not among them, and neither am I. For links to the articles that I've talked about so far, for links to related articles, for updates, comments, and more, visit askleo.com/5701. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.